Hey everybody, this is Chase. So I just recorded the video. I finished everything up. I just wanted to say that there's a couple of cuts throughout the video. I tried to keep them to as minimum as possible. Basically a true, raw, unscripted, sort of heart to heart here, because that's what I believe, trading psychology is all about. There's so much that you can say without truly saying anything. So I try to really dig into the thought process of everything. I think the video does take a few minutes to get going. In the beginning, I do a bit of an introduction about myself. If it's your first time listening to anything from me, I recommend to give it a chance, and I believe that you will come out of it definitely learning something if you're not already a truly, very experienced trader yourself. Okay, thanks everybody. Enjoy. What's up, everybody? It's Chase. How we doing today? So the topic of today's video is going to be trading psychology. We're going to be going through the mentality, situations, problems that you can face while you're trading. Before I get into anything, I want to say that it's very possible that this video and it's very possible that the video is going to be scattered in terms of thoughts and things of that nature, because the last thing I wanted to do was come on here and have a slideshow presentation of something that can't be put into a slideshow, right? You can teach technical analysis like that. You could teach price action concepts, show examples. There is no example of how human psychology works that will help you in the moment without really thinking through and trying to basically, have a heart-to-heart with you guys in reference to scenarios that a trader faces. Just please, understand that if I'm taking a second to think or something of that nature, I think that's just normal. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to really help anybody is by trying to, not teach you guys like the other, 1,000 YouTube videos where they say just, oh, don't be emotional. Just, set an entry and a stop and let it ride. There's a lot of videos like that, and the basis, right? Like, the fundamental point that they're explaining is correct, but it does little when price is, absolutely mooning or absolutely dumping, and your entry has been tested, your bid area, so to say, has been tested like 8 times within 30 minutes on a crazy down day. But yet you had this plan a week ago, and in the moment you're sitting there thinking, this is going to go lower, I have to cut, or I have to close here. So that's how this video is going to be presented. I'm going to do my best to, let me just make sure we're recording here. I'm going to do my best to present everything to you guys in a in a fashion of where I think things through and go from there. Okay, so that's enough introduction. Thanks for Prime XBT for sponsoring this video. Check out the links at the bottom of the screen. Sign up there. Okay, so a little bit of background about me. Been trading for about 4 years. I'll give you, sort of the rundown of how it went. I started, like most start, I think, baby pips, following people on Twitter, trying to just get a gist of it, I did have some slight, experience in other markets before I started in crypto, but it was only for a few months of like a learning period. Basically, I had made a tiny bit of money, but my bankroll was so small it didn't even matter. I eventually, took out a loan to start trading in crypto because I wanted to increase my size. This is something you should probably never do. And I want to do my best here to not be a hypocrite, but tell you at the same time that it was a terrible idea to, take a loan and do that. I know you'll think, oh, well, if he could do it, I could do it. But understand that the market conditions were very different. It was literally a perfect storm. I entered on the bull run like a little bit before, and I was trying to trade and I was shitcoining at the same time. And for my, my shit coining made up for my bad trading. Um, it's just not something you want to do. There's way better ways, and you don't want to be in a situation where literally wake up throughout the night, getting no sleep all the time, always stressed, always staring at portfolio. Basically, where I was in a situation where if I didn't earn, I couldn't afford food, like things like that. And if I happened to lose the loan that I had, so basically, if it wasn't a perfect storm for me, I would have been fucked. I would have lost the loan and I wouldn't have had any money. And I just happened to be lucky enough to, people always say, oh, early holders lucky or not lucky, whatever. You choose your own, make your own, choice about that, right? We're not talking about that. But point being is that even though, what I did, even though that it worked for me, it was still stupid, and it was the perfect storm, and it's most likely wouldn't be repeatable. There's much better ways to go about it. And even to expand and go a little deeper on that, I think trading provides newcomers with a very false sense of security. There's an illusion that you can make money easily without being a professional. Now this quote unquote professional, right? Because I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a professional. I just feel like I have a thorough understanding somewhat of the game by now. But sort of a weird example, but think about this. Would you take out a loan if your livelihood depended on you performing at a fairly professional level in, say, if you were doing NFL wide receiver drills, or you had to shoot a certain percentage on 3-pointers, or I don't know, mathematics, who knows, anything at a decently high level. Just because trading can potentially give you back money, it doesn't mean that it's going to, right? It might just take your money. It provides this false sense of security for newcomers, and I think that's what traps a lot of people. You're not even close to a professional level. How are you betting money that you don't even have? That's why you start with your own money and you start small. My recommendation to a new trader would be, if you're trying to get into trading, just have a normal job and just, build up some money on the side, right? Build up 5,000 or something, and just deposit 1,000 at a time, 1,000, and tell yourself that for the first 6 months to a year you're not going to use more than that 1,000. So in that situation you're going to break that down to at least 100 segments, and you're going to be risking small amounts per trade, and you're not going to be making a lot, but you're going to be learning a lot of the things and talking through a lot of these things with yourself that we're going to talk about in this video. Because I can't tell you how many, probably, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of hours, anytime I'm not trading or I'm not doing something that I really enjoy, like music, or I do some music production on the side. I really enjoy video games. If I'm not doing that stuff, or I'm not having a really good time with family or something, it's trading, right? It's always on my mind. If I'm in the shower, if I'm making food, I do a lot of meal prep. I exercise. Always when I'm exercising, I'm always thinking about trading, and all this stuff's always running through my head about how I can improve, and what the next step is for me personally. So yeah, back to where I started. I started with that loan. I got in at a good time, 2017, the bull run. I ended up, being able to get out with, 20 times or whatever my initial loan was, and paid it back in full, with some interest, obviously. And I thought I had things under control, right? I had a system going and a strategy where I was playing these formations, a lot of formation trading. And back then, if you look at the charts and whatnot from back then in 2017. That type of stuff played so much cleaner than it does now. Nowadays, you can barely even use it. There are certain situations. I did a video on it of formation trading a few videos back. You can check that out. But most of the time, that stuff didn't work as time went on, and I realized somewhere, maybe mid to late 2018, something like that, that my performance was taking a big hit. And I wasn't able to have these, 4 winning trades in a day. I mean, one time I had like literally 11 winning trades in a day and like 18 within 2 days or something crazy. And it just, that type of stuff went away. I found myself getting stopped out, faked out, and basically my whole trading strategy crumbled around me. And I had to begin adapting, price action concepts and other, basically which I sort of just rounded down to support and resistance, right? I never really got into like the ICT videos or anything of that nature. I sort of just took what I had in terms of what I knew about formations and what I knew about price action, utilizing some fib levels and stuff, and I just try to find the best support and resistance levels possible, and that's really everything. Let's take a sip of water. Okay, so yeah, we're at the point where I'm sort of having my breakdown, and I'm losing confidence. Okay, so this is like towards the end of year 2 or something. I'm beginning to lose confidence in myself, and I'm unable to have a really good, consistent, profitable strategy. So at that point, I decided that I needed to basically go and, just be on my own. I left all my Discord groups. I went pretty quiet on Twitter for a bit. And I really just, because you know what you don't need to see? You don't need to see other people, and obviously there's nothing wrong with other people doing well, right? That's what we all want. We want to see others strive. But when you're losing and you're seeing someone else constantly win, it puts you in a mentality where you think, oh, well, why do I even try to learn myself? Let me just copy this person and just let me do what they do. But you got to understand that sometimes people just go on win streaks, or the market conditions just favor them, and it doesn't last forever. I tell everyone. I had a friend who was doing really well in the market this year, and he just recently ran into some problems. His strategy sort of fell through a little bit. So market condition is very important. And sometimes people are just winning and they're having their streak, or they're in the right mindset. But it doesn't mean that you need to shit on yourself and say, oh, I'm not good. Let me just follow this other person because I'm not really good. Okay, so I spent a lot of time with myself and figuring out what was working for me. This was really the time where a lot of that self-conversation took place. And I feel like I really made the most advancement when I removed all external influences, all the externals, not barely any Twitter. I would post sometimes, but I wouldn't really read other people's stuff. No Discord, no Telegram. It was just me, a lot of screen time, and trading smaller size so I could try to get a new strategy down. Because when you're trying to figure out a profitable strategy and a system to where you're consistently profitable, the last thing you want to do is be hurting your bankroll. You just need to pretend and say to yourself, I'm working with this small amount of capital, and as I gain confidence, I'm going to slowly increase my capital amount. And at that point, you'll begin trading with size that you want to trade with. And then we'll get to, I guess, sort of where I'm at right now. I'm very confident in my abilities to trade well, as long as I'm very interested in trading. For me, it's a slightly love-hate thing, and I don't fully understand why yet. I think it just depends on what if the market is moving the way I think it's supposed to move, and that may sound like, one of those, oh, the market is wrong thing that people say, but for me, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, am I in sync? If I'm in sync, I love trading. Even if I take a loss, it's okay as long as I still get the general direction correct. It's when I lose sight of the overall direction and I don't understand why the market is still moving one way, or why it's not running any liquidity to allow me in, or it's, when it gets to that point, that's when I start to not get upset with the market, but I simply look away. And I zone out, I remove myself a little bit. And this is why it's so important that if you're not financially okay, right, for say at least a year or two, I've never really been one to worry, right? I don't really worry about, even when I was dead broke, I didn't have a lot of stress. I sort of just did what I had to do and made the best of it. I was never really a person to worry. And obviously, everyone's financial situation is different. Everyone has different things on their plate. Everyone's level of mental stability is different. And I feel the need to say this because I find that I have always been a fairly mentally stable person. And I think that's really important in this game. I think if you're someone who, like a breakup literally destroys you, I'm not sure, if you're going to be cut out for trading. It seems to me like people who are over emotional or impulsive often don't do well with trading, but I mean, I'm sure there will be people out there who will prove me wrong. I'm simply just speaking from what I've seen from people around me. Okay, so where was I? Sorry, I lost train of thought, because like I said, we're going to be bouncing around a lot here, but I'm really trying to, heart to heart here, rather than just show you guys a slideshow of shit that anyone online could show you, but it means nothing. Oh yeah, so when I'm in sync and when I'm out of sync. Yeah, so that's sort of the love-hate, right? But I think it's good for me, and I think everyone's take on the market will be, or how you choose to trade is based on, everyone's going to have their own individual style. That's what I'm trying to say, and how the market affects them. And for me, when I understand that I'm not in sync with the market, it's okay. I just take a step back. And when I am in sync, I really love it. And I try to maximize what I can get out of it. And I think that's healthy for me. Okay? So that's where I'm at right now. Somewhat of a love-hate. I feel like it's more love than hate, right? A lot more love than hate. I think I'm like 80% love, 20% hate. On occasion, there are times where you'll see me go quiet for a bit, and that's usually when I'm just not understanding something and I want to get a better picture, because my goal here is to help as many people as possible. I don't want to present information that I'm wish-washy about. I try to do my best to only present my best ideas. I do more stuff in the background, but there's no point in talking about that stuff. A lot of people, at the end of the day, had a great day, and show their P&L. Who the fuck cares? I don't care. Like, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that, you've, taken care of your family or whatever it is that you've done with the money, but it doesn't affect me whatsoever. It's just, it's sort of just like a brag or a flex. It is what it is. So yeah, in my personal situation, I try to only present trades beforehand. I try to update them. Ones that I have presented beforehand, I update those. All the stuff in the background just goes on in the background, and there's a lot more going on in the background that's shown, but it's just the name of the game, right? Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna start digging into some of my old tweets that have trading psychology advice sort of attached to them, and we'll try to expand on them, because obviously you can only do so much with the character limit. Alright, So the first tweet we have here: do not compare your gains to others. That person is in an entirely different financial situation than you. Those $1,000,000 P&Ls should inspire you to continue on your journey the proper way, not risk the house. Focus on good trading and solid risk management. P&L will come. Okay, very important. As we know, crypto Twitter can be, obviously, like we just talked about, a place of flexing, bragging, showing your wins. And again, nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but you have to be able to filter what information is important to you and what information is not important to you. And those $1,000,000 P&Ls are not important to you whatsoever. Your reality is so much different than someone who could actually net $1,000,000 on the day. I mean, they're going to have a net worth of probably at least, I don't know, I'd want to say 60 or 70 million or more. Probably more, right? It's just a crazy amount to net on the day. So you too are nothing alike, and you won't be alike for many years, even if you're, an excellent trader. So basically the point here is you have to focus on your own journey. If you're coming into the game with 10 grand and you're a brand new trader, like I said, first off, keep 9 in the bank and just put 1,000 on and trade slow, at least for the first year or so. And also understand that if you want to work your way towards those kind of gains, first off, you wouldn't even have, even if someone told you exactly what the market was going to do, there was never a trade where you could, take 1,000 and turn it into 1,000,000. Even like 100 times leverage, the move you would have to get would be so absolutely insane for you to make that kind of money. So just don't let it distract you, right? They're just in a different place than you, and that's okay. It's like any other job in the world. When you start working at a grocery store, there's a president of, there's the CEO of the grocery store who's making, I don't know, $100 million a year. That has nothing to do with your $7 an hour salary or your $15 an hour salary or whatever you get. So yeah, don't even worry about it. It's just a complete waste of mental energy to even think about that stuff. You focus on what your risk amount should be, and play with those numbers. Like I said, basically, your portfolio or your net worth. If you're talking, net worth, I feel like you got to give yourself at least, 300 trades or more, which means you would have to lose 300 trades in a row to lose all your net worth. Even that still seems a bit risky to me. And if you're talking portfolio, right, like say you have a 10K portfolio, you want to at least get 100 tries out of that, unless you're an experienced trader already, because 100 tries honestly isn't even enough. But most people are just so antsy to get the ball rolling. So antsy to get the ball rolling that they can't even hear this advice that I'm giving. They're like, nah, fuck that, dude. I gotta get rich, and I gotta get rich now. And maybe you will, but most of you won't. And that's just something to remember. Focus on your own journey. Focus on your own journey. Play within your own bankroll and learn. And you're going to build, okay? You are going to build if you follow the advice to focus on yourself and stop worrying so much about what other people are netting or making, or, how they're necessarily trading. Okay, one sec. All right, let's see what's next. Okay, so this is the position size tweet. Basically, we're sort of in the same place as we were in the last one, but this one's more specific to self. So a lot of people have analysis paralysis, as to where they're constantly looking. I got to get up and move around a little bit. I feel like this video would have been much better if I didn't have to sit and stare at my screen. If I could just be on my phone or something, but it is what it is. So analysis paralysis is basically when someone's just, they can chart well, but they never take a trade. You're charting well. Oh, look, it responded to my level, but you don't trade. Why don't you just trade the level? Like, after a certain amount of time, and you're gonna see your levels get hit over and over and over again, and how the market reacts to your levels. Just have some damn confidence in yourself and put an order there with an amount that you're okay with. I don't care if that amount is $10 and you have a $10,000 portfolio. I don't care if it's $100, if it's $50. Just put something on the line and set up a nice trade. Okay, you see a level, if you can get 2R or 3R out of it, throw $50 on the line and let it play out. Stop, as I say on the bottom here, stop doubting your ability and stop canceling the practice that you need. Because most people who are afraid to get in, or basically just afraid to get in, excuse me, or don't have the confidence to get in, or they're stuck just staring at the chart, it's because they're looking for a home run. They're saying, oh, well, if I'm going to risk my money, if I'm going to risk my $500, then it's got to be a real winner. And most of the time when you're looking for that big move to where you're super confident in, you're going to end up actually getting overexposed in that move. You're going to pull the stop loss or something because you're so invested in it. You've been waiting to trade. You've been waiting to take a trade for weeks. And then you finally see one that you like, and now you're all in. You're yeah, this is the one. This is the trade. There is no the trade. Just fucking trade. Just take a bunch of setups. Take a setup a day if you can. Like I said, the money value, the amount of position size is all relative to you. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to stop talking about it, because like I said, you might do $10 or you might risk $1 million. I don't know you. If you're risking $1 million, you probably don't need to be listening to my video unless you got rich some way else, in a different way. If you didn't get rich from trading, then yeah, you still might need to be here, and you better reduce your size because you end up losing your money. But yeah, take the trades, okay? Don't just sit on the sidelines and just wait, and then when you finally get in that trade, you're going to be so invested in that trade that you're not going to be able to cut it if it looks shit. You're probably going to end up, like I said, pulling the stop loss or adding or being underwater or something. And that's another point to get into. Stop letting yourself be so wrong. Just suck it up and accept that you're wrong sometimes. You can't go into this game and be stubborn. That's one of the biggest things I learned in 2020, and I really don't want to break off into this because it's a long ass story, but I'm going to try to shorten it as much as I can real quick. I was one of the first people on crypto Twitter to spot the COVID thing, and I called for an options trade on SPY, short position basically, so puts, if you understand options. And it was one of my highest P&L trades I ever had. And I didn't really know much about the Federal Reserve and how much they could influence things. Like I said, I've only been trading for 4 years or so. And I watched that gain turn from 15 times my risk amount, which I put a good deal of risk on it because I was extremely confident and knew exactly what was going to happen. I watched that gain turn from 15 times my risk to about 3.5 my risk until I finally cut it. And thankful enough I cut it because I would have lost everything. Not everything in terms of my portfolio, right? But I would have lost all the risk that I had put on it, and it was a good deal of risk for me, probably almost more than I ever put on anything before. And that wasn't really trading, right? That was like a fundamental call because I saw COVID coming to the U.S. and knew it was going to be a shit show. So it was a fundamental call, but nonetheless, trading psychology did come in towards the end when I realized the chart has shown me that I'm wrong, and it's not going back down. And that's what happened. I had to just cut it and take the small profits that I had at that point. It was still good profit, but it wasn't what it once was. So point being, understand that you need to accept loss, and don't pull your stop. Don't think that the market owes you something. When you're wrong, you're wrong, and that's just it. Sometimes you are wrong, and you have to be okay with being wrong. And the thing about being wrong is, if you trade a lot, if you're not scared, if you don't have analysis paralysis, if you don't have fear, if you're not often right but close early, referring to this tweet here, if you're trading often, you're going to know if your system or strategy works or if it doesn't, or if you need improvement. If you lose 10 trades in a row, hey, at least you're still risking small size, and you learn that, hey, there's a lot of things I need to fix here. But if you're just saving up all your bullets for those single trade, not good. Trade more, okay? Reduce size, trade more. Reduce size, trade more. If there was any advice I could give to someone, it would be to reduce size and trade more, because you're going to learn so much about yourself while you're not losing a ton of capital, and it's key. Reduce size, trade more. You're going to learn so much. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. Reminder that no matter how poorly you performed in recent weeks, the markets are a land of endless opportunity. In my early days, missing a big trade felt like I missed the opportunity of a lifetime. It was wasted mental energy. Trades like these always come around again. This one could not be more true. It seems like every single day I see someone talking about this trade or that trade, or what they missed, or I can't believe I didn't catch this run, I can't believe I didn't catch that run, or they're just upset with their performance. But again, the market is a land of endless opportunity. All you got to do is start up a fresh chart and get back to work, and keep adjusting your strategy and see what's working. But the last thing you want to do is sit around and sulk or mope about a missed trade opportunity. I used to do this. I used to, if I would lose money, or if I would miss a trade, sleep through a trade, I'd be pissed. I'd be upset. I'd be pissed, and I'd be thinking about it for like literally the next day or two sometimes. All it ever did was cloud my judgment, and sometimes even put me on tilt and make me go into this sort of like rage where I like I'm surprised I never blew my portfolio. Where like, I'll give an example. Say everyone on Twitter is, as we always talk about with Twitter, right? Everyone shows all their wins. Few people show their losses. It is what it is. So you log on Twitter and you see everyone making a bunch of money. You've been losing. And everyone's been winning on longs. Okay, longs. Everyone's been winning on longs. And you're like, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to long with everyone else. So you long on Bitcoin, and you put your stop at a certain point, right? It tags your stop. You get filled. It tags your stop, and then it goes back up above your entry. Well, now you're starting to sort of get on tilt. You get back in, okay, with your stop now below that low. So now your stop's below that low, and you're long again, and it comes back down and it stops you out again, and then it pumps. Yeah, so basically what we are getting at here is the whole, the market is out to get me personally. That mentality. That mentality is never helpful. And then, this can continue on, right? Depending on what the market conditions are like. And then maybe it pumps and you try to get in on continuation, and then it dumps through everything. So you were somewhat right about the short-term direction of the market with the long, but then your stop actually did make sense because it eventually ended up dumping. And basically you just go into a full-on tilt to where you're ready to basically size up. You're ready to prove something to the market. And you're going to say, you know what, fuck this. I'm sizing up here. I'm going triple size. I'm getting all my money back. Fuck you. This shit's going to dump now. I knew it was going to dump. Everyone's been longing. I tried longing, and it fucking dumps. And so it's going to go down. So now you go short, and then it pumps. And you're just in like a full-blown rage. And at that point, there's never been a more important point where you need to just walk away from the computer. Don't ever let it get to that point. Because basically the feeling here is like you're saying, every single thing I do is wrong. And this is when you sort of start to throw caution to the wind and say, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna gamble. I'm gonna up the size here. I'm ready to throw it all away, because I don't even like doing this shit. Even though the other day you were just having a great time trading, all of a sudden you're on tilt, and you're like, you know what, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't even want to do this shit anymore. And you just slide that leverage all the way to the max, and you make the biggest mistake you possibly can, and you are going to regret that. You gotta have some rules set to make sure that never happens. You have to. If you need to make yourself a rule, like one stop out a day, and you walk away, then do it. Because I don't know what your temper's like. I don't know what your personality is like, how angry you get, how sad you get. If you get so angry that you take a stop out and you're ready to revenge trade immediately, then maybe you need 2 days off after a single stop out. Maybe you have a lot of patience. Maybe you can take 3 stop outs on the day and say, okay, I think 3 is enough. Let me step away and come back when the market conditions are potentially more favorable to me. Okay? And that's something you could definitely do. Alright, where are we here? So we talked about missing trades, and how poor performance, and then going on tilt. So yeah, that's really that's it in a nutshell right there. Is that missed opportunities are okay. The market is 24/7. There's always opportunity. There will be opportunity tonight. If I'm not home, there'll be opportunity tomorrow, and there'll be opportunity next week. Stop sulking about old trades. It's not necessary. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Who gives a fuck? Focus on what's ahead of you. And don't go on tilt. If you're ready to throw caution to the wind, these are some future tweets I might bring up here. If you're ready to throw caution to the wind, get off the computer. Just force yourself. There have been times towards the beginning of my career where I had to legit just force myself off the computer and literally go lift or go to the gym or something, because I was so frustrated with the market and my own performance, and I just had to leave. Or I would literally go run. I would go do pull-ups. I'd do something. I would get off the computer. And I've learned to really deal with that, and it just doesn't bother me as much anymore. I understand that losing is a part of the game, and if I'm losing, it's probably time for me to take a step back, as we talked about earlier, disconnect for a short term. And disconnect doesn't mean look at the chart. It doesn't mean don't look at the chart. It means look at the chart, but don't necessarily take any trades yet until I feel like, oh, I saw that coming. Okay, oh yeah, I saw that coming. All right, I'm back in it. And then I hop back in. And I might hop back in with half risk, right? Because if I hop back in, half risk, and I lose again, then I'm saying, hey, it's only half risk, not a huge deal. Let me take a step back again, and let me see, did I do anything wrong here? And if I didn't do anything wrong, and I feel like it was just usual of what I would do, once again, I'll take a step back and I'll wait until I'm in sync again. Okay? I think being in sync is huge. Oh, the Bitcoin dream is dead. Look at these fucking idiots. Yeah, I think it's at like 38,000. Really looks dead. Okay. So this is what we sort of just talked about. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have done this if I had only done this. And I think this will be the last one we cover today. Maybe we'll do another one of these. I don't know. You guys let me know. And I guess before we wrap up here too, if you enjoy the content, please, like and retweet is a huge deal. I want to reach as many people as I can. I do this to help people. And there's no point in like saving this information and keeping it only to yourself. The more people I can help, the better. Hopefully the more people that make money, happier world. I don't know. Just how I see it. If I'm going to make content, I want to reach as many people as I can. So a like, a retweet, a thumbs up on Facebook, interact with it, or Facebook, thumbs up on YouTube. Yeah, anything you can do is greatly appreciated. Okay, so shoulda, coulda, woulda. There's no time to sulk. Understand where you went wrong. Implement your newfound knowledge. And don't dwell about the last trade or you're going to miss the next one. Basically, what we just said, I had a friend who literally every morning I'd wake up and, if he's watching, I doubt it, you're my boy, but I still got to bring this up, right? Every morning, he would send me like a trade from yesterday and be like, yo, if I hopped in on this, I would have made $3,000. Again, there's really no point in talking about the money, but anyway, he would have made some money that was impactful to his life. But I was like, so what? Like, why are you focusing on yesterday's price action when there's literally a trade that's going to happen within the next few hours that could do the same thing? So yeah, every morning he'd show me a trade that he could have taken, and took me a long time to get through to him. Like, dude, like, stop. I don't give a shit. Like, and you shouldn't either. We need to find today's trade, not yesterday's trade. Like, and it's just a mentality to where, like, you're not actively trying to participate in trade. You're not trying to reduce size in trade. You're just seeing the end goal, which is like big wins. Oh, I just want the big win. I just want the big win. Well, if you just want the big win, you're going to get the big loss, and you're going to end up back in the 9 to 5. And essentially that's, sort of what happened to him. And again, great friend, right? But you got to tell the truth. And, I hope he comes back one day and takes it a lot slower, because I do think he has the skill to do it, although he was slightly over emotional. I think he has the skill to do it, but you can't be focused on the past. You gotta look forward. You gotta look to the next trade. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Who cares? Like, fine. You know what shoulda, coulda, woulda is good for? If you often look at old price action and you say, oh, this would have worked, just apply that in the future. Just recognize price action, recognize technical analysis, and see these. When you have a lot of screen time, you see these patterns play out over and over again. especially if you watch the lower time frames. Don't leave your chart on the daily. Put your chart on like the 15, or put it on the 15, or put it on the 30, or even put it on the 5 if you're really that active. And just look at it. Look at it a lot. Because when you look at the chart, you're going to see things and you're going to say, oh shit, man, this happens all the time. It's eventually going to, and it's just natural. You don't need to study anything. Just spend time with the chart, try to learn, try to look forward, try to find trades, keep your size reduced, don't go on tilt, set rules for yourself if you need to, and be content with your own journey. Yes, be content with your own journey and where you are, because if you try to force yourself too hard, you're going to end up hating it, and you just want to be in a place where you don't ever want to become complacent, but you also don't want to rely on trading for your next meal. So make sure you're somewhat stable. You're using small amounts while you're a beginner, even to medium level. And remember that there's always going to be a ton to learn, right? And that goes for me too. I'm sharing, my deep thoughts really about how I feel about a lot of these things. But I know very well that, if I'm still trading in 6 years from now and I hit the 10-year mark or something, I'm very sure that I would look back on this video and probably say, oh, well, he had a good idea of what was right and where he was going. He had a really solid foundation, but there was still things that he could have improved upon. I'm 100% sure I'd say that if I look back in 6 years or something, because I don't think the game ever ends. I've dealt with some tough things, but I tell you, nothing comes to outside of COVID and worrying about some of my family members who have weakened immune systems. That really put a lot of things in perspective with trading. Was that I realized it's just money, and it's easy to say it's just money when you have a year or two of financial stability, even in like worst case scenario. But it taught me that it taught me that it really is. And when I say worst case scenario, that's like even if everything went to zero. When I talk about profit taking, people always, and now we're going to venture a tiny bit off again, but people often, why are you taking profit this early? Why do you take profit? Oh, look, it's still pumping. Like, people say that shit all the time. Look, I take profit because I want to know that even if something crazy happened, even if Bitcoin and ETH and all this stuff went to zero, that I'm still okay for a few years, because that's where I should be at in terms of my holdings. I shouldn't ever, and that's a risk that you have to consider. I've talked about this as well. It's very easy to look at a portfolio and ask for, it's very easy to ask for help about your portfolio, but I don't know anything about you. I don't know if, maybe if you sell 20% of your portfolio, you can, pay off, your daughter's college or something. I use that example on Twitter. I don't know anything about your portfolio. All I know is my own portfolio, and I know that I personally take a lot of profits, because even if BTC and ETH completely crashed, I know that I'm still okay, and I'd have plenty of time to find something new to do and be on my feet, or start trading stocks or something. But which, I mean, I do my fair share in stocks, but I don't really post about it, so I don't really talk about it too much, and I don't think it's I definitely not as active over there, especially not lately. I feel like it's died down a tiny bit outside of like Tesla. It's not as exciting as it was, and it's getting exceedingly risky with some of the evaluations. So yeah, portfolio. It's very personal, and yeah, I like to take a lot of profits because I think it's important. Where were we before I started talking about that and ventured off? Let me think for a second. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure. So I guess we're gonna wrap this up here, guys. If I had any final thoughts to say, I think we covered a lot in this video. If you want more videos like these, comment and let me know. I had a good time talking about everything. There's so much more to talk about. We literally did 4 tweets out of like literally 30 I have in my notepad to cover. I thought we were going to be able to get through 8. We got through about 4. And I think I don't know how long this video has been, but it's definitely longer than my usual videos. Okay. I hope that was helpful to everybody. And yeah, once again, I very much appreciate for anyone who shares the video and content. Check out Prime XBT. Thank you very much, everybody, and have a great day. And keep trading. You got this. Just yeah, that's it.